But yeah, like Lakers, bro, because I everybody knows I'm a Nets fan, so it's like I look at the Lakers as the biggest as the biggest competition. I look at the Lakers as the biggest competition. I don't really take the 76ers seriously. I really should. I should because Embiid is a problem and he can easily beat us single handedly with our
and
bigs the way they
and
seem
he's the
washed.
most healthy. Listen. I'll give you this historical reference. I'll probably add this and I'll say it again. Phil Jackson to Shaq in his first year. I'm not saying
Yeah,
Doc Rivers is Phil Jackson,
yeah. Please don't.
but that first year, especially the first 2 years with Phil Jackson and Shaq, got the most production out of him than what my man's Martin did, and he had him for 4 or 5 years. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So my thing is I'm in no way am I saying Doc is Phil, but I'm talking about to the winning pedigree, playoff pedigree. He's getting the most. He couldn't get what Brett Brown had 6 years to
It,
get out of him.
Brett Brown didn't is not a championship coach. Like Brett Brown feels like
He just
a
came from
guy
the
that
tree.
can develop you and then move on to the like he's like a um who can I say
He
that's a
came
good
from
comp?
Popovich's tree.
No,
That's
but
my
I'm saying
thing.
like he came from a good tree, but when you look at Brett Brown, you don't see, oh, we gonna win a chip with Brett Brown. Like you look at him
Yeah,
like,
he didn't have that look. Yeah, he's a great assistant.
yeah, like you look at him like what's his Lawrence Frank. Like Lawrence Frank could take you to the chip, but he never had the pieces. So maybe that's what it is. But you look at Lawrence Frank and you're like, yo, Lawrence Frank is a good coach, but is he gonna win you a chip? Like
Hmm.
I'm talking from Nets experience. Lawrence Frank not gonna win you a chip. He could. That's my boy from my hometown. But is he about to win you a chip? That's my question. And even like I don't know. Let's get into the episode before we do this. Everybody, this episode what episode is this? 14? I don't even know. 13, 14. Um, this is an off week. D-Rod couldn't be on this week, so I got my boy Nate, my resident Lakers fan. Whenever I need to bounce ideas basketball off of who I think my biggest competition is, I always go to him. He's a Lakers fan, as you can see. Lakers championship hat, Lakers championship shirt, Kobe in the background. Rest in peace. So he's the Lakers fan. So we're gonna get this. It's gonna be a short episode today. We're just gonna talk basketball. We could talk
Hmm.
baseball too, but I'm gonna save that for next week.
Change the background. Yeah, you got to. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
We're gonna save that for next week. So we're gonna talk basketball. I'm a Nets fan. He's a Lakers fan. I feel like those are the two favorites to make the finals when healthy. Like if LeBron and AD are both out, like into the playoffs, then that will change clearly. But right
Hmm.
now, I don't care if you guys are the 8th seed. You guys will be the favorite to make the finals if LeBron and AD are healthy. And the Nets, if all three of the big three are healthy, we are the favorite to make the finals in the East. I would say even if we had two of the three, we would still be the favorite to make the finals. I could be dragging it just a little bit. Uh,
A little bit.
I could be dragging it just a little bit because when we had two of the three, the Sixers were watching us. But we're gonna get into the episode. We're gonna start off with this. The NBA is I feel like it's living up to what everybody wanted it to be this year. When we look at the NBA, we see Lakers came out guns blazing after only having 72 days after winning the chip to come back and ball out again. Guns blazing. The Nets started off a little bit slow because, oh man, no chemistry, blah 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 blah. Traded for Harden. I thought the trade was stupid at first because you gave up the future for James Harden. But until James Harden got hurt, he was everybody's top 2 or 3 pick for MVP this year. So
Hmm.
you see that. You see the Sixers are going crazy. The Bucks are going crazy. The Heat just traded for Oladipo, so they're about to go crazy. You got the Clippers in the West. You got the Jazz, who have the best record in all of basketball. You have the
Hmm.
Suns, second best record in all of basketball. The West is looking crazy. Nobody even talking about the Clippers right now, and the Clippers on paper might have the best team in basketball. So the NBA is looking absolutely nuts. But no one cares about the rest of the NBA. We talking Lakers and Nets today. So let's get into it. Just lay out the Lakers layout for the season so far. Like, what have you seen so far? What do you think is going to happen going forward? Just go for it. Go for it. Let's hear it.
Fam, this is just my thing. First of all, thanks for having me on. Pleasure, honor, privilege. I'm looking at my squad. I've been a lifelong Laker fan. I'm not a bandwagoner. First jersey, Nick Van Exel. That's how far Nate
Yeah,
Nate
that's
didn't
like
go
what,
back.
01?
I'm from New York. No, fam. Van
That was
Exel was the
98.
90s.
Yeah,
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 I was around then. I remember when Kobe got drafted and Kobe was shooting air balls in the playoffs. So
yeah,
that's how far back I go. I was ecstatic when we got Phil Jackson. That's how far back I go.
yeah.
I'm still upset. I'm still upset that Jim Buss ever got rings to the Lakers and ran them into the ground in the mid of the last decades. That's how far back I go. I endured with him. So yeah. So this is a good feeling to feel we're the target again. You know, we're the target. We're the standard. That's how
This is
it
my
should
first
be.
time experiencing that. This is my first time experiencing that. We the target,
Yeah.
like being the Nets fan, being the target is crazy. Go ahead.
Yeah. Because you know what? I would even account the early years when Jay Kidd got there. I just think when injuries happen, bro, with Lawrence Frank, and then Jay Kidd and Vince Carter didn't work out. I think Vince Carter still has the franchise record for most points scored. Vince Carter was a great pickup for
No,
y'all,
no,
but you a
it
dumb
was
man.
it's Brooke Lopez.
It's Brook now, right? Yeah. I know for
Yeah,
a minute it was Vince.
yeah, it
So it's
was.
like this man Vince had impact. It's just that they couldn't get healthy enough to move past the Pistons. They
Yeah,
were to me in the early 2000s if they'd stayed healthy and if they didn't make some of the dumb trades they made later on, I think they would have really been able to contest, and they should have won at least one or two more. I even think if they'd beaten the Pistons in '05, they were going to beat the Spurs that time around. That's just my opinion, but I digress. In my opinion, looking back on the Lakers, what I'm thinking about this season, fam, yeah, they had to talk about because they won the chip. But looking at this one, in my lifetime, bro, I've never gone through a time where the Lakers haven't repeated in my lifetime. And you're talking
that's
about
true.
Magic, Kareem's last stand. That was a repeat. A
Yeah,
little kid, but that was a repeat. The Lakers three-peat. They're the last team to three-peated. Kobe and Powell back to back. So this is actually going to be LeBron's and AD's probably greatest test for a traditional Lakers fan. You got one, but can you
and you get
now do
two.
what is traditional? Getting in bunches. Yeah. He, People revere Pau Gasol, true Lakers fan, because he was a part of the back-to-back. Okay, but that's another conversation. But looking at this squad,
Yeah.
truth be told, they have the pieces to do because Andre Drummond pickup was great. Pope, um, Pope has stepped up. You remember last year? I was just cussing that man out to scorn every
He
time
was a
that
bum.
man was the play. I put him in the yeah. I was like, what are you doing? Until this man got hot in the conference and
Yeah.
finals. I'm even looking at the game right now. Just seeing it some kind of tight right now. They were in the game, and then my man made a big basket. Now they're up 12 again. There's 3:42 left. But I'm looking at Taylor Horton Tucker, who grew up this year. Schroeder,
Yeah, he
great.
did.
Schroeder was a humongous pickup,
Biggest,
man.
probably your biggest pickup of the all season.
It's between him and Drummond. But that's just my opinion. And signing back Morris because he could have gone
Yeah,
anywhere he wanted to. So
I
I
was hoping
mean,
he
who
would came
knows
to
with
the
the pieces?
Nets. We don't
I
have
know
we
you
don't
would
have
have.
dogs. We got
Yeah, I
dogs now,
know.
but we didn't at the time.
I'm
Yeah,
not even gonna hold you. Even though he's having an off night tonight against the Knicks, McLemore is no joke.
yeah,
I'm
he's not.
thrilled that we got him too, because when he play defense, that's good. We good. I don't. That's just me. Wes Matthews has been the biggest disappointment because Wes Matthews should have been the consistent sniper
Yeah,
from the 3-point line. And he got cold. He was cold to begin with. I was like, send him back to Milwaukee. We don't need him. Like, I was on that wave. But then he had some good games in January in them. It's just like, okay, I guess we can keep him. He's not on the trade block anymore. But that's really my team. I think my team can do it. as long as they're healthy, I'm not disputing that they can repeat. I'm not. I mean, I know you're a big Nets fan. I look. I'm looking at what happened this weekend. Let me get top three players. All right, Harden wasn't there, but KD and Kyrie was there. So Kyrie got thrown out in the third quarter. But even then, there was still a big lead because they came back and Kyrie was. Hey, I'm not gonna put it past y'all, but KD was on the floor. The
Here,
clear number two in the league.
here's what I'll say. If this was KD's 10th game back, we could talk about they should have came back regardless. If it was his
True.
15th game back, whatever. This was his second game back. And he only played like 15 minutes in the first game. So you can't say, oh, KD should have brought us back. No, Kyrie, if it was opposite and KD got thrown out, Kyrie should have easily brought us back. Now, I'm
But
not
he's
going to
been
say
playing.
easily. I'm not going to say easily, but he should have brought us back because he's been balling out.
I have a question for you. As you said that, Chief. Even though the game got postponed tonight because of the shooting that happened in Minnesota recently, Chief, this man has been taking a lot of personal time, a lot of PTOs.
He
I
took off
think
because of
I
that.
I I I, I okay. I don't know that was the main reason,
Yeah.
but the, your man's taking a lot of PTO off. Like I think the first time he took PTO is what jacked him up. If they didn't catch him breaking protocol at his pop's birthday party, we would have just said, okay, this man is promoting mental health. He would have been the new face, like how Kevin Love was 2 seasons ago. He's that dude. But nah, they caught him napping.
Kyrie, Kyrie, the first time I thought he was going to retire. I was hellbent. I said, this man is not
I
coming back.
thought so too. Yeah, yeah.
And then like you said, you see him partying. You're like, oh, he just took this time to chill. He coming back. And then, the second time he took off, I was like, it was on his birthday. So I was
Hmm.
like, he's doing it again, but there was no video this time. I said he
Right.
went to home to go party 100%. Today, it's because of the shooting, and
Hmm.
I give him credit because he took off, Cat took off. They both said personal reasons, but it was really because of the shooting, from what I heard. And then the NBA just canceled the game altogether. But
Hmm.
I'm when I look at
But
it,
you know the league was gonna.
there's
The league
yeah,
is
they
at
were
that
gonna
place.
cancel.
Yeah.
They
If they
don't they
cancel
don't
the
care
whole
about
playoff
nothing.
game, what's a regular season game? The
Exactly.
Milwaukee. What was it? Who was it? Milwaukee and Miami.
I think Milwaukee, Miami.
Yeah, they canceled that whole joint. They said we're not going nowhere.
Yeah.
Eh,
What's the point?
So, the NBA, they about that life. So, I mean, I appreciate them for that.
Yeah.
But I guess it's because Kyrie's had a bad rap about that, and
Oh, 100%.
I heard somebody say, if Kyrie's the Rodman to this trio, I don't see him as the dog that Rodman was. But y'all might not get it done. I've heard that on the
You
radio.
he
This,
probably heard it too. That's probably why he got up in Schroeder's face 2 days ago for no reason, because it was like, oh, he didn't even say nothing. He just like he walked up, said something mad close to his face, and he said, "Oh my god!" and he stepped back, and he was like, "Oh," and then he started getting crazy. Like, yeah, I understand you don't want to be called, that, but it's like, bro, like that's a
you know
fraternity
what?
in the NBA. Y'all both black. It's a like if you use that if he uses that as a term of endearment, I'm sure. So I know Kyrie has his own mental thing. Do what you want, believe what you want. If you don't want to be called that, then you don't want to be called that. And he spoke up. But I feel like he might have heard that too. He's trying to be a dog now. He's like, y'all want to get crazy? I get crazy too. Get thrown out a couple times. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets thrown out again in like a week. Look, we making the playoffs, and we're not gonna be in a little playing tournament. We making the playoffs, and
Yeah, no,
whoever
I
we play in the
agree.
first round, we're favored. As long as we're all healthy, we're favored. So hey,
Y'all gonna
nobody
be
worry about
y'all
that.
gonna be favored until about Philly. The only X Factor series, to me, your X Factor is gonna be contingent for Miami. Is gonna be contingent on how acclimated Oladipo can get into things. My
And
other X
scoring,
Factor, yeah,
his scoring, yeah.
my other X Factor is I hate to say it because 2 years ago people were swearing up and down they were going to win the championship. I think Milwaukee's become an X Factor team, and here's the only reason why I say Milwaukee's an X Factor team is because that Drew Holiday. I, ah, That man Drew. I know people sleep on it, but that man Drew.
I talked about it last week. We talked about it last week. Drew Holiday's a bad man. He locks.
That man Drew is a point guard that's a dog. Like he's a wing player that's a dog. Now if he was on y'all squad and you said y'all got KD
Bro,
and Harden,
come on now.
I might say let's book our tickets. There's a Brooklyn LA finals. Let's get our shots. Let's do this.
You gotta go back and watch last week. I literally said it. I was like, bro, Drew Holiday, no one talks about this man. Drew Holiday, it's like widely known that Drew Holiday is like the worst person to face you up when you got the ball in your hand.
Yeah,
because he's going to lock you. Like they talk about Elfrid Payton was nice defensively, blah, blah, blah. No, Elfrid Payton cannot touch Drew Holiday defensively.
Drew Holiday. Oh my gosh, I dare to say that if all the Holiday Bros were healthy, that you could say the same thing about them because they handle the perimeter. I'll give them that. Historically, if you just look in some of their film, but Drew's the best to me.
Bro, and he could score 20 a night if he wanted to, but he would rather lock you up.
And that's why I said they're an X factor because you see the thing is, if in the playoffs and you need to step that up, he has no problem. Y'all got to remember, Drew Holiday was on that squad that upset the Portland Trailblazers that was favored to make some noise.
Yep.
When Rondo was there, so he knows what's up too. It's not like he's a rookie; he's a scrub. You know, Middleton he takes Middleton off the hook, in my opinion, as a wing player. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion.
I feel like here's the difference. You look at the Bucks 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say 2 years ago when Brogdon was still there. You had that dog defender.
Yeah.
That could put up 15 a game, like consistently. You have, of course, the MVP in Giannis. You have Chris Middleton who can drop 20, 25 on a good night, right? So you have the makings of a great team. Brook Lopez pulling up from three, defending the paint. Like you had the makings of a team. You had the makings of a great team. Then you trade Brogdon, sign and trade to the Pacers. And then they trade for Bledsoe.
All because they didn't challenge the because he was a restricted free agent.
Yeah, he was a restricted free agent. They didn't challenge offer. Is Brogdon that good?
He's not that at that time. He wasn't, but I ain't gonna hold.
He wasn't. Now he's nice, but at the time he wasn't that good to be making that much money at the time.
Yeah, no, I agree. He gambled on himself, and he stayed healthy. Because remember, he
was always hurt. Exactly.
Yeah.
So then they get Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe's nice offensively, and he's good defensively. I wouldn't say he's elite. So you lose him on the defensive end, and they thought, oh, we have a better scorer, so we're gonna go up there and dominate. It don't work like that. Now they have a better scorer and defender in Drew Holiday. So now they kind of scare me. But I don't feel like Giannis can do enough to take them over the top.
Yeah, I think he can do enough to bother KD. But if KD averages 21 and it goes 7, and y'all still win the series, you're gonna take that. You're just gonna say kudos. Yeah, everyone's gonna leave saying kudos to Giannis.
Look,
he made that man KD not score more than 21, but they got over the hump.
They got basically washed by the Heat last year. Granted, the Heat went to the finals, so you can't really say much about that. But they got washed by the Heat.
Too. Jimmy Butler. Everybody needs
so did
a dog.
The Bucks.
That's my thing. Everybody needs a dog. And Milwaukee to me with how they kind of has it. I'm still concerned about the Nets with it because nobody could dare tell me LaMarcus Aldridge dog. That man got herbed. that man got herbed and bullied, like herb and garlic, like on Saturday. My gosh, heck, even the last time they played the Knicks, it was like, wait. This is the guy that was making fun of the Lakers and I'm signing with the Spurs and did nothing with them. This is
that. Here's the difference, though. When he was in Portland, he was told, you are the best player on this team. Go for it. Do what you want to do. He gets to the Spurs, and Greg Popovich is like, you are going to give the ball to Kawhi. I don't care what you say. You could get your 20, but you're going to give the ball to Kawhi. And if you end up with 13 points in this game because Kawhi went for 60, shut up and deal with it.
Win. Yep.
And Aldridge is like, so you're basically telling me to take a back seat. And then he started to get old. So then he had to take a back seat. So when you look at Aldridge,
though.
It did.
If you
It was
think
like
about it, he got
overnight.
old quick. Yeah,
It was like
I
overnight.
don't know if it's a Spurs thing, but
It
fam,
is the
he got
Spurs. It
old
is the
overnight.
Spurs. Because the first game on the Nets, what did he do? One, he started. Two, he dropped like I don't. It wasn't a crazy amount of points, but you could feel the difference. Like I love DeAndre Jordan. I feel like he is a wash. He is washed at this point, but DeAndre Jordan could still defend. He can't defend the wing, but he can still defend the paint a little bit. He's not gonna
Yeah,
score. Like
yeah,
he's never
definitely.
been
It's gonna be all
a
tippings. It's
scorer.
gonna be all
Yeah,
tippings. It's gonna be all
tip-ins,
tippings. Yeah.
putbacks, stuff like that. When LaMarcus Aldridge came in the game and did that first back down, I think it was Joe Harris. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh, we playing basketball now. That felt nice because DeAndre Jordan does not dribble. He catches the ball, looks
It's a
left,
free
looks
steal.
right.
I'm not gonna hold you. It's a free steal. If you go back to the Clippers
Exactly.
days, that's one of the reasons why Golden State. That's why you knew Golden State was gonna be on the come up because they knew to attack him as a weak point.
Yep.
They always got steals off him. So it's like,
Exactly.
yeah, DeAndre Jordan's not a good dribbler. I guess my thing is, it's just like when it comes to your team, how can you not respect the 76ers though, fam? Because
No, I'm not saying I'm not respecting them. I'm saying if we're all healthy and we're all playing basketball, not like because remember we're probably not gonna have enough time to get chemistry with James Harden's out with the hamstring. He'll be back for the playoffs, but are we gonna have enough time to build
yeah,
chemistry? The reason why the Heat lost that first year, other than LeBron disappearing in the fourth quarter, but the reason why they really lost is because they never faced adversity that whole year. Everybody was healthy basically the entire year. They got to the playoffs. They blew through everybody. They got to the finals, and it was like Dirk
I
said,
think yeah,
"I'm a dog."
The East was different though. That's a hard comparison. You're right, but that's a hard comparison because to be honest, the East was washed because you gotta remember the Celtics, even though they got to the Eastern Conference Final the following year and brought them to seven,
Yeah,
they weren't healthy that year. They were coming off the championship run against the Lakers where they lost, and they all
yeah.
weren't healthy throughout the whole season. Then they traded Perkins, which I mean, as much as Doc Rivers was crazy, he was right. I looked it up. That starting five, they never lost the series, and they never got a chance to say, "Let's give it one more run at the mill." Jeff Green was nice, but Jeff Green to move KG that late in his career to center to that small ball idea when it was still not the adaptive thing wasn't a good idea. Same thing I would say. Okay, you have enough length this time around. You have enough length, in my opinion, because you picked up Aldridge and because you got Blake.
But I feel like before you continue, I feel like is Aldridge really length because he's basically at this point a glorified Zach Randolph. He doesn't get more than 2 inches off the ground. He still could dunk. Don't get me wrong, but he can't
I'm
jump. He
thinking
got
about
no
length
bounce.
as in like, yeah, okay. The athleticism is not a factor, but if you just put it on paper, if you
Yeah,
stack it
he's
up,
tall.
lengthwise, the only team that can really match up, in my opinion, is the Lakers. Because I don't even think the Clippers can match up. I was talking to my cousin and said, if for some reason the Clippers came out of the West, for some odd reason, 'cause I don't believe they are, but if for some odd reason they did, and they met your Nets, I might pull for the Nets only on this wise.
Might you have to? How
No,
could you
listen,
possibly root for the Clippers?
I'm
Like,
not. You know I'm not crazy. That's what I'm saying. I'm not crazy. You know I'm not crazy, but you know me. They can stay in the basement forever. You can move out of Staples Center. You can borrow our building. You're not gonna have the magic we had in that building. You can build it up. You can build it up. But this is a Laker fan talking. Listen, if we meet, I think this is wisdom on LeBron's part to say I'm not coming back for another 3 weeks. I was watching a little bit of it on Undisputed today. 'Cause I didn't know that, and then I saw it confirmed on ESPN. I think it's what Shannon Sharp said. LeBron, no, he can't be any less than 100% for this kind of championship
yeah,
run. He knows, and I think AD's taking
there's
a
no
little
weak team in
page.
the West.
I think even AD's taking a little page out of it to not rush his comeback, which is smart. I love it. This bench needs to continue to be built up. Listen, I know they lost by 15 tonight. 'Cause I just saw the final score, but I'll take what Drummond did. Not on Saturday, not tonight. I'll take what Drummond did on Saturday, and we'll take what Morris brings to the table. Take what Schroeder brings to the table. because this is Schroeder's time. Schroeder, if I make a football analogy, he like Joe Flacco. That year that Joe Flacco won the Super Bowl, he's going to have to bet on himself
Yeah.
because he still didn't sign the extension. Schroeder's going to have to show that he's worth it, especially if he doesn't sign back with the Lakers. I'm taking the effort from my roster, the bet, like the
Yeah, the
minus
effort.
AD and LeBron. I'll take the effort that they gave over the weekend, to be honest. Tonight it was just Randall's night because this man dropped 34 easy, and it was Alfred Payton's night offensively. Hell, even D Rose had a good night. He came off the bench tonight. I'll give it that. But if I was gonna line it up, I think they needed that win to build up their chemistry, to build up their confidence. Because to be honest, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm still sold on Kuzma all the way because Kuzma had a horrible night tonight. Kuzma didn't even play
His first
Saturday.
game back. Yeah,
I
he
know,
missed a couple
I
games.
know, and I think he put too much pressure on himself because he shot the ball more than he should have. 5 for
He's
13.
the number one option. He should have
I
shot
know.
20 times.
I'll take Schroeder 7 for 13, 21 points. I'll take that. Like Schroeder's been playing, so let
Yeah,
the
he's been
offense
balling.
tonight go through Schroeder. Let Kuzma get back in rhythm, kind of like what they did with KD's first game back. Let him get back in rhythm. It's about you getting back in rhythm.
When I look at the Lakers, I look at other than the two stars. You know your two stars. You know who the ball will be going to more than likely every time down the floor.
50. It's 50 because of what AD did in the last postseason. You
Yeah,
got to
no, I'm
bump
saying it's them
it up.
too. They are going. Them two will touch the ball every single time down the floor, regardless of the possession. Them two will touch the ball unless LeBron gets the ball first and he's like, "I'm going for it." But when you look at the rest of the team, you look at Kuzma, who's the number 3 option when everybody's healthy. Kuzma, does
Might be
Kuzma
4
start for you
now.
guys?
It's been spotty. I feel
Yeah.
like they need to make a decision on that because, to be honest, if you're gonna want to make a championship run, he's got to be more of a star. You got to get him in there more.
But here's the thing. I think he should come off the bench because let's say against the Clippers, AD would have to play the 4 against the Clippers.
He's gonna have to be okay with it because my thing is, Drummond's not coming off no bench.
He's not. But I'm saying here's what I'm trying to say though. Like, if you look at when you're talking about matchups, AD should be the 5 against the Nets. You have Drummond, of course, and Drummond is going to start. He's top 5 center in the NBA. Maybe not right now, but on a good regular year, he's a top 5 center. Yeah. So you look at him, and he's going to start. I'm not worried about that. So regardless,
honestly, there's not many centers wise. There's not many people put. The only people you put ahead of him is who we have to go through. Jokic,
and
y'all got to deal. So our teams have one big man that they got to go through to get.
You guys got to go through Gobert too, because that man is a dog defensively. Offensively, he's not doing nothing.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying. That's about it. I'll be more scared of Donovan Mitchell offensively, and hell, even Jordan Clarkson than before I'm scared of him.
Oh yeah, unless
tell me,
he starts getting behind the defense, because if he get behind the defense, he's dunking on everybody.
He got nothing. But they don't have enough. I don't think. I just think because Don is gonna want the ball so much. No disrespect to them. Yeah, I can't even say Aiton's a prime yet because he's so young. I can't even say that.
I was thinking about him, but he's not there.
It is indeed there. But you know, it's the backcourt, and we can lock that up easy with the Suns.
Is Schroeder that good defensively?
Schroeder's that opportunistic.
Defensively,
he's that opportunistic because he'll get that steal. He'll do it. And
okay.
You got to also remember that series when he was him and Chris Paul's backcourt against the Rockets. When he was on the floor, the opportunistic defense is what really made that a 7-game series. In my opinion,
made that 7-game series.
Alexander, who's on the come up too.
Because when I look at your backcourt, it depends on how you guys are going to construct your backcourt. If it's Schroeder and THT or Schroeder and Caruso, you guys are going to get washed.
It can't be Schroeder and Caruso to be the backcourt. To me, you know what's even sad about it? And I think that's why I'm disappointed Wesley Matthews.
He should be starting for y'all. because he's
But Wesley
legit.
Matthews should be a better. He's a much better defender than what he's given us this year, in
Yeah,
my solid opinion.
it could be
He gave
age.
that.
Father
It
time
could be
undefeated,
that.
bro.
Father Time's while Father Time is undefeated. Look how much cats old. Shane Battier knew his role and stayed in it as long
Yeah,
as he could, and that was wing. So you have to know. To me, he's a younger Shane Battier. That's why I think that's why I'm a little disappointed because
but
like
he
he did it
wasn't
in
as good
Dallas.
defensively.
Yeah, not as locked up as Tony. Yeah, not,
Yeah,
Shane Battier. Shane Battier was yeah, that's
yeah,
it.
he was locking. So
That's it.
that's the
But
biggest
Wes
difference to me.
Matthews gave. I mean, from Dallas to Milwaukee, just what I remember of Wes Matthews' game, he can do it. He just has to be committed to it. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
Like, and that's what it's gonna take. I think Frank Vogel and that staff. If I line up staff to staff, I'm going to my staff, not because of the experience, but anything that Mike D'Antoni hand is on, I still can't
No,
trust it, yo.
bro, I don't
I
trust
still
it.
can't trust it. I can't trust it to get out the conference. Steve
I
Nash and
don't
him
trust
are
it to
from
get
the
out the
same
first
school.
round.
Him and Steve Nash are from the same school. That's why them as a tandem couldn't win player and coach. I don't even think
Bro,
it's going to happen coach to coach. He should have just took the Indiana job and just been happy get Indiana as far as they could. And when I heard that he was an assistant coach, I was like, y'all not really going to the finals. Y'all going to get to the conference finals.
no. Here's
Bro,
my biggest issue. Here's my biggest issue. They just went and traded for the same guy you couldn't win for. You
I
couldn't win
know.
with.
I
You
know.
went and traded for Harden. The guy you couldn't win with in your heyday as a coach, your younger heyday as a coach, the one MVP with you, couldn't win with you. He's now the head coach. You're his assistant. You go and trade for another guy you couldn't win with, and then you go and bring him on the team. The only difference here, and I will say this, AD, when healthy, is a bad man on the basketball court, and he can cover up flaws when healthy. He just has to be healthy. KD
KD?
didn't play 18 months, came back, played like 12 to I think 20 games, fell off a cliff again for 2 months.
Shouldn't that concern you a little bit, though? Because especially it was the hamstring and it was the same hamstring of
He,
that
he,
same foot of
he
that,
said
you know what
he
I'm saying?
felt fine. It just
He
wouldn't
said that in game
respond.
five. He said that in game 5 of the finals.
No,
The
but that
last time
was
they
a
no, no,
torn.
that was that.
That's
No,
what,
that was that. No, that was
yeah.
that. No, but bro, if let's say God forbid, I don't want that to happen because the NBA will be
I
tight.
want I want
But
Nets Lakers full strength.
what God forbid, what if he had torn it? If it was more torn, like Ken Griffey style torn, like that? That's a dub for y'all team
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah. We're not going anywhere.
Or
Well,
even
we still
James
could come out the
Harden,
East. We still could come out the East.
but you're not winning the chip. You're not gonna finish the
No, we're not
job.
gonna win the chip, but we could definitely come out the East because Harden and Kyrie is a good enough duo to win the East.
They're a good enough duo. You see why I have a hard time agreeing with it? I'm still thinking about that Rockets team that was up 3-2 against Golden
Kyrie
State.
wasn't on that
Dan
team.
Tony. I know. But you telling me, are you telling me right now, CP at that time, before he got his hamstring injury, CP over Kyrie, even mentally.
No, but here's the difference. On that team,
He'll give it
even
on
though
offense. He'll give it on offense. He don't care. Like he don't
no,
care.
but
Kyrie give
here's what I'm
50.
trying to say. That team relied so much more on Harden than CP3. CP3 was their bailout, but you can't bail
Yeah.
out when Harden gets 13 turnovers and shoots 0 for 47. Like you cannot
Yeah,
overcome that. I don't care how good
that game seven,
CP3
yeah.
is. So Kyrie
He
is
wasn't even there for that.
never gonna go 0 for 47. He had some bad games with the Celtics, but that's just because he said, I'm the only person on this team that knows what I'm doing in the playoffs. I'm gonna shoot every single time down the court. And he did that and lost. But him
And he
on
ran
this
into that
team,
buzzsaw. He ran into that buzzsaw in Milwaukee at that time. So I get what you're saying.
I'm telling you, him on this team,
Ah.
Kyrie on this team with Harden, is a different animal because one, Kyrie can literally look to Harden and say, "Give me the ball." Chris Paul
And
wouldn't
Harden
dare
will
do
do
that
it.
because he would have
Yeah,
got traded.
Harden will do it because Harden is hungry to win. I think Harden got humbled, especially with the
Oh,
last,
his last
especially
three
hold on,
elimination games.
humbled. My thing is, it's easier to get it done in the East because, all due respect, the East at most is top heavy. At most. Look at the depth of the West. The team that's the 10th seed can get hot enough. I'm not saying the Spurs gonna do it. I'm not trying to get crazy, but I'm just saying that there's enough talent and experience that
Oh
can
yeah.
make things happen.
The
Fam, one
Warriors,
through six. Oh my gosh! If
the
the
Warriors are
Warriors,
10 and they will be 5 in the East.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's tough. As a Lakers fan, I'm looking at it right now. While I still feel good, here's why I feel good, because these guys are actually taking their time to come back, and they're allowing their team. You're gonna have to step up if you want to see what. It's almost like the '98 run, if you remember from the Last Dance. It's almost like that '97, '98 run when Pippen was out for a good minute. Everybody else had to step up with Jordan and Rodman, and Rodman was wilding too.
Here
So it's like if you want to get that chip, your game has to come up.
it works for you guys because the two people that are out just won the chip last year. So it works for
Yeah,
the Bulls because Pippen was out, but
but they just won the chip the year
Pippen,
before.
not even so much that, but like Pippen, Jordan, and Rodman already had 4 or 5 years together.
Right.
Was Rodman there for the first chip, or did he come for
No,
the
no,
second
Rodman
one?
was there. Rodman came for the second three-peat.
Yeah.
Rodman was in DC at
So
the time, yeah.
you got to understand, Pippen and Jordan already have that chemistry. So he doesn't have to. He could have sat out the whole season, came back game one of the playoffs, and he probably would have still won the finals
Yeah, they still won the
because they had
championship, yeah.
so much chemistry. So everybody else
And
got
their
the
role players had
chemistry.
chemistry too. Because you gotta remember Harper,
Exactly.
you gotta also remember. But my thing is, if you look at it with the Lakers, that's why I think if I look at Morris, if I look at Kuzma, if I look at Caldwell Pope, um, if I even look at Caruso. Caruso, I don't need you to score all the time. If you can get hot from three, that's great. And he has his moments from three, which is great. Be the Caucasian Draymond. Like I'll take that over. That's the real Caruso I want. Block the stuff out of the ball. Block Jim like how you block Jim Butler in the final. Do that. Do that. I'll take that. Taylor Horton Tucker. Let him keep growing up. Taylor was watching from the bench. You don't
Yep.
think he's hungry to
He
want to
still
make an
got a
impact?
ring.
Yeah, he still got it. He was watching it.
Yep.
Listen, if those guys step up all the way, it's over, in my opinion. There's nothing really to talk about because all the two need to do is be great at what they are. Look at what made that first three-peat, if I go back historically, the first three-peat of the Bulls, that was all role players. That was all the wisdom of Phil Jackson pulling the right string saying, Jordan, you can score 50, but just remember, on the Doug Collins, you ain't win no championship. You got the East Conference
Yeah.
Finals.
Yep.
I don't see that for the Nets. I don't see a person on the staff, in my opinion, that could pull those kind of strings and say, the players are doing it themselves because they got experience on their side, and all three of them being the top dog ain't really get it done. If you want to say KD all the way back to the OKC days, I understand Westbrook was his teammate, but KD ain't get it done
I'm
really
about to
either.
say let's
You know what
let's
I'm
let's
saying?
blame Westbrook.
I
Westbrook.
know, because you're looking at him now in DC. I appreciate what you're saying, my man, but if you don't, I wouldn't want to be traded anywhere at this point in my career. If I was him, this is
Yeah.
just me. Without wanting to get a championship. Your league is defined by it now. I don't care what you. That was a nice interview. Even KD, that was a nice interview. KD can only say that because he got championships now. It's bigger than basketball. If KD
KD,
had 0 rings, does he say that to Rachel Nichols on Saturday night?
if KD had 0 rings, he would still be on the Warriors.
No, I agree. But I'm just saying, if he had zero, he wouldn't say what he was saying, Rachel Nichols, about it being bigger than the game. He wants more than just what he got from winning in the game.
I think regardless of if he had 0 rings or not, he's just saying that to get people off his back now. He has 2 more years after this year with the Nets. If he does
To
not
make
win a
something
chip,
happen, yeah.
if he
Boy,
does not win a chip in the four
boy,
years, he knows good and
boy.
well he
That's the
failed.
story. Yeah. And that's in New York. This is not New Jersey. Listen, y'all New Jersey. All right, we thanks J Kid. Thank you, Kenya Martin. Thank you, Mr. Kittles. Y'all ain't get it done.
Yeah, he didn't. That's why I
We
said
love y'all.
I said it. I said it a couple weeks back. I said I'm scarred. I don't know what it feels like to be the number one seed. I don't know what it feels like to have a target on my back. We had a target on our back in 2015 for about 3 weeks. When we swept the Heat in the regular season series in 2014, we swept
Oh, you
them with
talking about the
KG,
Paul Pierce and
Paul
KG?
Pierce. We swept them
When
in
Jason Kidd was
2014.
the coach.
We're head
But see, that's
coach.
you had a. But see, the thing is, Even if you don't have it on the bench and the player, you have it on the staff.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if the Nets don't get or gain that, Doc Rivers done made a monster out of Joel Embiid.
What I will say though is that Doc Rivers is stubborn.
He
We saw
sure
that
is.
last year with the Clippers. If
Y'all know
something
that.
don't
Yeah.
go right, but it went right the 3 games before that, he gonna keep beating that one dead horse
Yeah.
until he gets eliminated.
I
So
think he has a
even
better
with the
roster.
Celtics,
He has a better roster to adjust, though. I'm not gonna hold you. He has a
bro,
better
he
roster to adjust.
name a roster better than Paul. You think this Sixers roster is better than Paul Pierce, KG, Ray Allen, Rondo, Kendrick Perkins? No,
Of course.
no.
But guess what he can say? With all 5 of them in the lineup, we went 7 once and they never lost. He right. You can't sit there and say because Perkins wasn't there in Game 7 for the NBA Finals. That's why I was like, if he holds to that philosophy every game that they played in, he's right. He can hold on to that. But when you're talking about like, even if you want to say the CP3, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan years, who else was on there to really make a pull like that other than JJ Redick once a week, 2 games out of the series? You don't have.
It
They
didn't.
never had. All right, I'm even gonna say this. Bless them. This is why I know the Clippers. When the Clippers don't win again, whose fault is it really this time? Because
PG.
of course we're gonna say
They're not.
PG,
They
but
will never blame
we're gonna
Kawhi. It's always
my
gonna be
man.
PG. Kawhi
And
can never
PG's the
get
one that
blamed.
but PG's the one that's staying. PG's the one that's staying. This man Kawhi looked at the contract extension and said, I might take my chance in free agency. If they don't win it and Kawhi goes somewhere else and the Clippers are better off, you gotta start talking about Kawhi. I don't care. No, I'm glad he got 2
I
championships
don't
and
know,
2 finals
bro.
MVP. I'm glad. Toronto, he owes he
I
owes
was
them
about
his
to
life.
say single
He's
handedly, bro.
selling. Yeah, I get it. But you can't even the other one he won with the Spurs. I'm not gonna hold you. He was a young stud because you wasn't
Yeah,
gonna give no finals MVP to no Tony. Tony
we're
Parker
not
was the one that should have got that one. But Tony
probably.
Parker already got one. So it's like, yeah, we satisfied the Spurs
No,
fam.
they gave it to Kawhi because who usually gets the Finals MVP when they play LeBron? The guy who guarded LeBron the whole series.
When he's
Iguodala,
lost.
you really think
Nah,
Iguodala won that Finals
nah,
MVP?
not Miami. Not Miami. Because I'm not gonna hold you. Dirk definitely did not go. If that was the case, Jason
No,
Terry should
no,
have.
no, no, no. That one made sense because
That
Dirk
was the only one that
went
made sense.
crazy.
Dirk lost his mind. If you went Dirk after game 2, when they swore they were going up 2-0 after that timeout, he was like, okay, watch this. How about this? After game 4, when they started making fun of Dirk because this man started coughing,
Hey,
they screwed up. They screwed up. Yeah, I was on my
I'm
way from a
telling you,
service and I was watching. I was waiting from a service when he clinched that joint in game 6. I was listening to that joint on the radio. I was like, if Dirk don't win the MVP, I don't care what Jason Terry did. Jason Terry just talked enough to get in
yeah.
LeBron's head. That was it. That was it. Iguodala, you can even say the same thing. Iguodala, you won't give him Finals MVP for holding LeBron to 33, 11, and 7. That's crazy.
It wasn't even 33, 11, and 7. I think he dropped 48 and 8. Like he
The
really
last 2
dropped a
games, yeah.
40 ball on you for like the
He got
entire
him.
series, and he got MVP on that. Because no one on the Warriors really did anything spectacular.
I
But
mean, okay, the only
Iguodala,
time, okay, with the KD ones, you knew KD
KD
was
just
gonna get it,
KD. He's
but
KD.
KD, nah, that first one when they took him out in 5, fam, I'm not even gonna hold you. What KD did to them in Cleveland, and when he blocked LeBron in game 3, you just knew. It was like, okay,
Yeah.
when they close, it's not even if they closed it out. It's like when they close it out. There's no, I don't care if Steph goes for 65 the rest of the series, it's still going to KD.
But
So,
you can't
and
really
KD's not,
give Steph MVP because he
it's
always
terrible,
has a
man.
game. He always has the one game where he shoots like
8
5
of
for
26, 8 of
27.
26, and
Yeah,
1 for 7 from 3.
exactly.
I
Always has that
mean,
one game.
Kyrie's had a lot of those games in the playoffs away from LeBron. I know the sample size is only the Boston years, but fam.
because he felt like he had to take every shot. You have Jason Tatum, you have Jaylen Brown before Jaylen Brown was a stud, but you had Jason Tatum, who was a stud. Who else was on that team? You had
You had Scary
uh
Terry, bro, come off the bench. You had
exactly.
Scary Terry. He didn't trust his team. My thing is, because he doesn't have chemistry, do you think he resorts? I'm just gonna ask you as a Nets fan, do you think he's gonna resort back to those habits? Because I haven't seen anything that says he's not gonna resort back to those habits.
I Here's what I'm gonna say. Kyrie never left those habits. The difference between then and now is that Kyrie makes his shots. Back then, in that playoff series, he wasn't making his shots. If Kyrie went 15 for 22 and dropped 45 in them games, nobody would have said anything. But he went 6 for 22 and dropped 22 points. How you have the same amount of shots as points? That's why people
Yeah,
found
that's
a
never
problem
good.
with it
No, that's never
because
good. I'm not gonna
he
hold you.
shot
That's never
so
good.
many times and only made like a quarter of his shots, which is
And
not good when you're one of the best
Milwaukee,
shooters.
Milwaukee. If I look back at that series, this last series with the Celtics, Milwaukee made that their game plan. It's like, listen,
Let him shoot.
you can take it, yeah, let them have fun because you don't trust them enough. If we rob them of their confidence defensively and we just leave it to you, that's all it's going to take. I'm just saying, if you run into Philly, who's never lost their defensive identity, they've just got it. I think something about Doc Rivers elevates a team that first year. If they come out, listen, if there's one team out of the East that could give the business, just because I don't trust y'all big men, to this day, I'm still going to say Philly.
Here's why I say I'm more worried about
Milwaukee.
Miami with chemistry than I am about any other team. The Just look at
Oh,
the
you know
Sixers.
what? Because they didn't lose. They really didn't lose Hero and
Exactly.
whatchamacallit.
They still have Hero. They still have Duncan. They added
They just
Oladipo,
added Oladipo, man, and Oladipo's really feeling his. And remember,
bro.
Oladipo wanted
Is
to
a
be there.
problem.
That's
So
crazy.
The Sixers are great. Don't get me wrong. They're
And
the
the
number
Heat have
one
the length.
seed.
The Heat have the
Yeah,
length.
exactly.
Oh
You look at
boy,
the Sixers, right? You
I
have
even think about
Embiid.
that.
Embiid is elite on both ends of the floor.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have
yeah.
him. You have Ben Simmons. If it's up to me, you got to put Jeff Green on Ben Simmons. It might not end well, but you got to line Jeff
Not at
Green
this
up on
point.
Ben
Not at this
Simmons.
point. Not at this point in his career. I'm sorry. God
You
bless
have
him.
to
He did
though.
a
Who else
great
can you
job.
put?
Yeah,
You
because it's gonna
can't
be
put
death if
you
it's
can't put Kyrie on him like
yeah,
matchup of
it's
point guards.
over.
Kyrie would get
Yeah, it's
destroyed.
not. Yeah, yeah.
So you have to put okay.
Jeez.
You could put Joe Harris because Joe Harris can play some defense. But the thing is, with Joe Harris, either you get in defense or you're getting offense. You don't get both.
You're not gonna ever get both. I'm glad you finally realized it because I've always felt that about Joe Harris.
I always knew it. The difference is on those weaker Nets
Mm,
teams, they always just asked him shoot the ball because they didn't have the offense. Now
right,
we
right.
have the big three. We have Aldridge. We have Blake. Blake Griffin is not really playing offense. He's
I'm
there to
glad
just
he's
take up
dunking the
space.
ball again. But side note, I'm glad he's dunking the ball again. I'm
Yeah.
glad he remember how to do that. But you know what?
Like
What
look,
makes it dangerous? Dang, I don't
look,
know.
look.
Ugh.
Let me say this real quick. You probably didn't watch the game because it wasn't a very interesting game. But the Nets Hawks, like a month ago, month and a half ago,
I saw the highlights. Yeah, I didn't watch the whole game. I saw
and
the highlights.
who disappeared in that game? Trey Young. Trey
Yeah.
Young was non-existent. Why? Because Joe Harris said, "I'm not going to shoot." He lost his streak. He had like 85 consecutive games with a three.
With a three, yeah. He threw
And
it
he
away. I'm
said,
glad.
"I am not going to shoot. I got you guys got it. Trey
Role
Young,
play.
me and
He's the
you,
role
you're not
player that
touching the
you can
ball."
trust. Yeah, he's the role player. I'm not gonna hold you. Joe Harris is a role player you can trust. Um, I'm not gonna hold you. He's a role player because if he's willing to sacrifice that, that's somebody you can go to games with. But I'm not gonna hold you. Like if I look at my squad, bro, Taylor Horn Tucker could be that.
He could.
Um, the Taylor Horn Tucker, Schroeder definitely can be that. You know, I say this: if Schroeder didn't have COVID end of December, early January, there's some games that we lost when he wasn't in the game. That if he was in the games, we certainly would have been a better record to have a better cushion because
Yeah.
and I don't think we would have had that LeBron injury. because when Schroeder was out, who went back to playing point forward? LeBron.
Yeah.
So I
Like
mean,
let's look at the matchups. Let's look at the matchups.
okay.
Once again, I do understand that Philly is probably our biggest competition in the East. But once again, I want to make the finals. I'm a Scarred Nets fan. I've never like I started watching basketball at the end of that 01-02 era where the Nets were
Hmm.
making the finals. I wasn't
Hmm.
really paying attention. I was like 5, 6 years old. I wasn't really like heavy in basketball at the time. I remember it, but I don't remember it. So it's like when I look at this team, let's look at the matchups. I still believe it will be Nets Lakers in the finals. Ratings wise, you guys are going to carry the ratings, which I'm fine with. I want the whole world to see that the Nets are a problem. The issue is if you look at the starting five for the Nets, when healthy, you got Harden at the one, Kyrie at the two. You have um,
KD's
Joe
gonna go like to
Harris.
the three.
He go play
KD,
the four. He go play the four. They're gonna have
dang,
to.
I would have rather him play the three. That'd have been better defensively for y'all because you could just
I don't think so because that means we're gonna have to start Jeff Green at the four on AD, and that might be worse. I'll rather KD play guard AD, even though it won't be for the whole game. It will be in spurts because if you put KD on AD the entire game, both of them are going to be tired.
yeah,
And
and they're
I
both
don't
gonna kind
think,
of cancel each other out,
yeah,
and I know the
they're going
league
to
don't want
cancel
that.
each other, and they don't exactly. So literally, Adam Silver might call up Steve Nash like, "Yo, move him to the three." But the way the Nets play now, um, they're probably going to go 9 deep. Blake Griffin will probably fall out the rotation, no
I
matter
don't even
how
like
much.
that. I don't even like that.
I
The
don't
fact that
either,
you're
but
telling me that you gave up stuff for him. I don't like it. That's part of why I'm like
because
I
look at
don't
this,
like
look
it.
at this. It's gonna be KD. I mean, Kyrie and Harden at the one and the two, right? So you're probably only gonna have one more guard, one or two more guards. Like, so it's gonna be Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown is gonna be that third guard that comes in to defensively. He might even start at the three, even though he's only 6'4". He might even start at the three because that's what they've been doing now. It's been Harden at the one, Kyrie at the two, Bruce Brown at the
Right.
three,
Bruce Brown is three.
and then Joe Harris been playing the four, which makes it you had to do it because who else was going to play the four? And then you
Yeah.
had Aldridge at the five. Now, when the playoffs start, Aldridge is going to be matched up against Drummond. It could be a bloodbath. It could work. Then you have
I see
KD
more
against
bloodbath.
AD.
I see
I
more blood.
I do, but at the same time I don't because LaMarcus Aldridge might not be fast. He might not be athletic anymore, but that man is strong. He got old man strength now. So if Andre Drummond thinks he's just gonna bully his way through the paint, it might not be that easy. He can out jump him any day of the week. So 50-50 balls is over. Y'all gonna get every one of them.
I
But
just, woof, that's tough because I'm thinking about as you said that. Remember what cost the Heat in the finals, even though Bam was there, or when Bam was injured.
it was
Even
Bam
when
by
Bam was
himself.
there, when Bam was there. No, I get it, but hear me out when I'm talking about the paint play. LeBron knows how to attack it. When listen, all we got to do is go back to Game 5, 2016 NBA Finals, when Draymond was absent, when he got suspended. They took a field trip to the paint and never stopped.
No, but who was there big at the time? It was like what was like
Bogut,
Anderson
but Bogut was
Varejao?
good. No, and Bogut too. Bogut got injured in Game 4, and he was
Like
done for the
you
series.
understand.
It was Kevon Looney. I get it, but if you
Kevon
think about
Looney. Like who are we talking
if
about
you
here, bro?
if you think about if you but for me, why I'm making reference point to that, if I'm gonna LaMarcus Aldridge was the reason why the Spurs fell off in paint defense. I get it's tough because since he's been on the Nets, he looked good. But
Yes, he looks young again.
if you're gonna tell me off the rip, he's gonna sustain that through the playoffs, and he couldn't do good under an all-time great coach. When you had Kawhi, and even the year that you didn't have Kawhi, when you made a push against Portland, and you let not even Westmount, not even what you call it, who somebody
Dame
else, a
Lillard.
whole role player. No, Dame
Yeah.
Lillard didn't beat them in Game 7.
No, you were
A
saying you
role
didn't
player.
let Dame Lillard beat you. It was
Yeah,
some random person. Yeah.
it's whole role player. So it's like, Aldridge is not. It's not countable for me, if there's such a term. I would rather go with Blake.
No.
I would rather go with Blake in the rotation, not in the starting lineup, but in the
I
rotation.
here's why I say Blake might fall out the rotation. They love Nicholas Claxton more than Blake Griffin because
Get
when
it.
you switch, it's not a mismatch with Claxton. He's basically
Yeah,
a
I
weaker
get it.
AD. You switch on defense, and Nicholas Claxton is guarding your point guard. It's not ISO. Let me
Barbecue
get no.
chicken. Yeah, it's not
It's
barbecue
not
chicken. Yeah.
because you can bop him and he'll figure out a way to get his like 9-foot wingspan up in your face. Still, that's what I'm saying. He's like a weaker AD because you switch on defense. AD's guarding a point guard, and I said this a couple weeks ago. You can bop AD. He can fall and touch earth and find a way to get back up and block his shot. So that's Nicholas Claxton to a lesser extent. So if they had to choose two bigs to play, I'm sure it would be LaMarcus Aldridge and Nicholas Claxton. Blake Griffin is a name, so they're gonna play him.
There's gonna be pressure to make sure Blake get in there because Blake
That's what
didn't
I'm
come
saying.
there.
He's a name. They're
Blake
gonna
didn't
play
sign
him.
there. Blake didn't sign. Blake didn't agree to join y'all to just ride the bench in the
I've been
finals.
watching the games. Blake Griffin has his moments. Of course, he's been knocking down some threes. He's been dunking again. Blake Griffin looks lost sometimes.
But
Lost. I've been watching him
that's from
like,
the
yo,
Clippers
what is
days,
this
man.
man doing?
That's from the Clippers days, and he had a good coach. He had a good coach, and he still looked lost some of them games. So I don't
Like,
know what
yo,
y'all
what
gonna
is this
get.
man?
I feel like I'm not gonna hold you. If anybody's gonna stop the LA Brooklyn finals, fam, it's gonna be Philly. Or now that you mentioned Miami,
That's
like I can
Miami,
really
bro.
reconsider. Because Oladipo, I don't get it. He wanted to be in Miami. He hasn't signed the extension. I guess he's running on that TV deal. Okay, he's smart.
Yeah.
But fam, I just and Oladipo has no problem falling in line because they know it's Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, that squad that got him there.
Yeah.
If they meet Miami on the way, you might, now that you said it, like y'all really might be in more trouble than you think.
Here's my only thing. Can they keep up? Can any team in the East keep up with us offensively?
I feel like on paper nobody in the NBA does. That's why in a lot of people's mind
You
it should be the
guys, when
Kings, y'all.
healthy, can.
Yeah, we know that, but here's my thing. What did we pride ourselves on from the time Lawrence Frank got hired? Is defense first. All the offense that we get, all the crazy offense we get, you're right. All the crazy offense we got in that championship run was because we made sure we let y'all know we're the number one efficient team for a reason. You're gonna pay for your mistakes. We're not gonna beat ourselves in the postseason. I'm gonna give the Lakers this. There was only like 2 games where they beat themselves because of bad turnovers that I can recall in that title run. They didn't beat themselves. They did the Patriot way, if you want to say football kind. They're not beating themselves. The Nets, because they have a staff that beats themselves. I'm not trusting the staff. I keep going back to it. I'm not trusting. Like
Yeah, it's
until
the truth.
I
It's the truth.
see, because here's the thing: if the apple don't fall far from the tree, what's one biggest knock on Mike D'Antoni? Here's he don't adjust. If Steve
He-
Nash carried that same mentality,
I don't think he will because
I I
I've
don't
seen it
think he
watching
will.
games.
I don't think he will. The playoffs is a whole different animal. Nick Nurse, when he won the chip in Toronto, is because he had enough video, enough wherewithal to say, I gotta adjust. I'm gonna put Kawhi on Giannis. And let me see what y'all gonna do. Like he had enough wherewithal. He brought back boxing, he brought back
Box, yeah.
playground ball, boxing one. I haven't seen boxing, bro. I haven't seen boxing one since NBA Live 2003 on my PS2. It was like, yo, he played boxing one. And when they broke it down on film, I'm like, holy crap, he's really playing NBA Live style defense on stuff. I'm sorry that Toronto's not better because on paper, but pre the trades, obviously,
Yeah.
I would have said that they'd have been an X factor too, just because of the experience. But they,
1 year,
Siakam's took a step
big
back.
step back.
And OG took a step back too, in my opinion. He's had some great offensive game, but defense, that intensity's not there. I told y'all they should have let Van Fleet go I told y'all Van Fleet was gonna be more of a conflict. You can't keep. I mean, Lowry might not come back, but I'm just saying,
Can't keep
if y'all gonna
two
go with
small
Van Fleet,
guards
if you're
unless
gonna keep
they're
Van Fleet,
elite.
yeah,
Yeah,
if you're gonna keep Van Fleet, y'all should have been traded.
Lowry
Y'all
a
should
long time
have been
ago.
traded Kyle Lowry. Should have did it in the offseason. You should have sent him to the Clippers if you wanted to send him somewhere. If you want,
No, because they thought they were gonna make a run this year because you have Pascal coming back with that little stupid spin move he does every time running down the middle of the floor. You have Van Fleet
stupid
coming
spin.
back. You got Kyle Lowry, who's still one of the best point guards of the league, even though he's getting old. He's still a top 15 point guard, which
All right, I'm not, yeah.
is
I
saying
know. I'm not gonna
something.
ever say 10. You know, I'm not ever
You
gonna say
can't say
10
10
about
because point guard is the most stacked position in basketball, but he's still a top
Yeah,
15 point guard. So you look at him, you look at you look at the team, the Raptors, no one expected them to win the chip this year because they don't have a star. They have a bunch of above average players.
above average.
Yeah,
Yeah.
above average role players. They don't have a star. When they had Kawhi, they went from top 3 seed that can never break through because DeRozan doesn't play modern basketball. He's starting to
Yeah.
now.
My
He
God.
doesn't play
But you know
modern
what's crazy?
basketball.
It's too little, too late. I feel like here's my thing. If we had got, let me tell you something. I think if DeRozan didn't sign that extension, I think he did, and he was a free agent, I would have said LA make a pull for him because if you
Yeah, I
that
don't
man
think
would
y'all
have
got
made
enough money, man.
that man would have made. I know I don't think we do either, but that man would have made the mid range. You'd have had to guard it. Who's gonna guard it? Because we got the threes locked up. We got the inside locked up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like dang, really. So I don't know. It's just as far as the East is concerned, outside the top heavy teams, y'all should. If you go home before the second, if y'all go home before the second round,
No,
I'm
if
gonna
we
holler at
go
y'all for
home before the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm going to be livid. We
bro,
need to make the finals. There's no excuse this year. You got the
bro.
three of the top 10 players in the league on your team. You got no excuse.
I agree, but I'm telling you, if see you sold me on Miami again because I was like, God darn it, I forgot Oladipo's there, and that man can play defense when he's healthy. So it's like if you meet him in the second round and y'all go 7, just God forbid, and y'all lose the series,
I'm
just
still going
based
to be
off of the
upset.
chemistry. Okay, as a Nets fan, I get it, but
As
what are you gonna say?
anybody who has sense and knows that the Nets are the best team in the
I
East,
know they are on paper. I know they are. You know, I had to concede it once. Remember, I told you I was congratulating y'all once I heard this man LaMarcus Aldridge going to sign because it would give you depth at a spot that was missing. And then you got Blake. They'll give you depth at a position that was missing in the paint. So I was like, dang, congratulations. Because I thought we missed out on the sweepstakes. And then 2 days later, we got Drummond. So I was like, all right, it is going to be Brooklyn, LA again. Okay, cool.
yeah. Let's look at the standings. Let's look at the standings. So right now, 76ers got a half game lead over the Nets. And then it's Bucks at 3, Hawks. Whoa, Hawks with the 4th seed? That
That's why
kind of
people's
shocked me.
wondering why. That's why people's wondering why did they trade Rondo now? Because it's the Nate McMillan factor. Nate McMillan since he took over the team
That
has
kind
been
of shocked
getting.
me. Whoa. Okay, then you got Heat 5. Heat will probably pass the Hawks before the end of the season.
Yeah, I
So the
think
Heat
so.
should be 4. So we're not playing them until the Eastern Conference Finals, regardless. Unless
Semis,
we no, the
semis.
Eastern Conference Finals, because we're the 2
Oh, you mean
seed.
that? You're talking about Philly?
No, I'm talking about the Heat if they get the 4 seed, because it's usually we're
Oh
not the
yeah, it's
1
one
seed, we're the
four,
2. It's
1-4.
1
They're not.
4, 2 3.
There's not enough. So there's not enough games left for Miami to get into the top 3.
No,
It's
no,
gonna stay
well, it
Milwaukee.
might be. They're only 5 games back of the Bucks, but what are the odds that they overcome 5 games? That's a lot. They can,
Yeah,
but
because remember they got
it
hot
would
because
it
they were
would take
ninth
help
and they
from
went
the
to fifth.
Bucks.
I know they
Yeah.
went from ninth to fifth in the bubble.
No,
They
but
went from ninth
but
to
you
fifth. So
understand between ninth and fifth is only 2.5 games.
last year it definitely was. Yeah, it definitely
I'm
was. You're
talking
right.
about even this year because the Heat
Really,
were
I haven't
yeah,
even looked at the Eastern Conference standings
the
to be honest.
Hawks the Heat are 8, well, they're eight
Are
and
the
a half
Knicks
games
still in the top
back.
6?
The Knicks are 8 right now. They're
Wow.
9.5 games back. But so if you look at it right now, it's the playing game is going to be Bulls Pacers. I'm going to probably pull Bulls because they got
Yeah.
Vucevic now. and then the winner of that game faces the Celtics or the Hornets. So I'm thinking the Celtics are gonna end up being the 6th seed, and then it will be Hornets versus no, sorry. It'll be Celtics Knicks. I'm gonna pick Knicks in that series. It burns me to say that because I think the Celtics are insane when they want to be, but they're slacking this year and they got no bigs.
That's killing me. You know, it's crazy. I still think LaMarcus Aldridge was a better fit for them in Boston than he is with your team. But I'll leave that alone.
100. Well, I won't say 100%. Seeing how much he helps our team offensively and defensively, I'm gonna say no. But the only true big they have is Tristan Thompson, and where is he? He's always hurt, so you can't really rely on him.
I know that's the killer.
Yeah, they had Dice or Deese, whatever his name is, and they traded him to the Bulls. So you just made the Bulls a powerhouse because now you have everybody on that team.
And Billy Donovan's coaching that team. They're gonna play up.
Exactly. So this is what it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be if the standings stay as it is right now, like if the playoffs started right now, it'll be 76ers versus Celtics in the first round. Because I would still pick the Celtics over the Bulls to be the 8th seed. And then it'll be Nets Knicks. That series is gonna go 6. I don't really Nets Knicks because their defense is
out of
so hard to play against.
Man. I gotta give it to the Bulls because you weren't thinking about them as nothing, fam. Like that's my opinion.
I'm talking about the Knicks.
No, I'm sorry, the Knicks. My fault. Yeah, wrong team. Knicks. Yeah. I didn't think about them as nothing neither because I don't hold you. I thought it was gonna be straight rebuilding for the fun of it. But even picking up Derrick Rose, I think them picking up Derrick Rose kind of ensured that they were gonna make a playoff push. So
make the playoff push, yeah. So it's gonna be Nets Knicks in the first round, and then
it's gonna go 6. Yes.
So 76ers,
boy.
1-8 76ers against Celtics. 76ers are gonna win that series. Then you're gonna have 2-7 Nets Knicks, and then I'm gonna go Nets in 5 or 6. We could easily sweep them, but we could easily go 6. So I'm just gonna go in the middle. I'm gonna go 5. And then 3-6 is gonna be Bucks, Hornets. If LaMelo's back, that is gonna go 5 or 6.
No, they say he's not. They said they're not going to chance it. Unless
then they gonna get swept.
Big push. Yeah, it's over. Yeah.
They probably won't even make the playoffs, to be honest with you, because they already dropped since then. They were the 4 seed, and they already dropped back since then. So that could all change. But if it started today, Bucks are gonna wash them, and then you're gonna have Hawks, Heat, and that's easy money for the Heat. At least it should be. It should be because once again, you got Oladipo, Jimmy Butler.
You see, coaching. I know people don't pay attention to coaching to the postseason, but see, my thing is, all right. You said it's Heat and Hawks.
Yeah, and Hawks. It should be easy work for the Heat.
Yeah, Spoelstra's gonna make the right moves and push the right buttons. But I can't because remember Nate McMillan's squad took Miami to the distance.
Yeah,
and he's beaten Spoelstra before, so it's not like a cakewalk. I'm not saying Atlanta's gonna If Rondo was still there with that Atlanta squad, then I'm saying, all right, we may have.
Then you would have a full conversation. But I think the Heat should at least go. It should easily win that series, if not in 5 or 6. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you look at that, and then the second round would be 76ers versus Heat, Nets versus Bucks. We're gonna beat the Bucks. We're going to beat the Bucks because Giannis can't do enough offensively. Defensively, he could change the game, but I don't think he can do enough offensively unless once again Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton come and go crazy. But Giannis, because remember, Chris Middleton been disappearing.
I trust Drew Holiday to go crazy. Like I said, because of his playoff series. The playoff series that he's been in, he's made it very interesting.
What I will say, though, is he cannot guard James Harden and Kyrie at the same time.
Middleton, to me, Middleton was never worth that much money either. That was just me.
He's still a star, though. You can't really knock him.
I'm glad he made those 2 All-Star teams. Wonderful. But until I see him really do it. We've talked about it. Until I see Middleton really do it, Play up to your money. Play up to your money, young buck. Until
Yeah.
I see him do it, I'm not buying in. All due respect. He's a great player, but I can't buy in. It should be a 7-game toss-up. It should be. Because
I wouldn't
the
say
Bucks
toss up.
coach
I think we should
should.
100% win before the 7th game. But if it goes to 7, we're going to win that game because Giannis is
Y'all
going
gonna have to.
to he's going to start
Y'all gonna
pressing.
have to. Yeah, no. Y'all gonna have to. I can't see. My thing is, if I go on coaching for coaching, if I say coaching is the X factor, let's say coaching is the X factor for the whole run. It's really Doc Rivers at this point. That's going to be the problem. And I wish that y'all would get number one because I feel like if Game 7 is not in Brooklyn.
It will be. Oh, you're talking about against the 76ers.
Yeah. If
It
Game
depends on how
7
many
is
fans
not,
they allow in the building.
it don't matter how much fans they allow. If they allow, listen.
You'll be surprised
10K
how many
fans.
Nets fans. You'll be surprised how many Nets fans will drive to Philly.
I'm not surprised because I know it's not a
It's
far
right around
drive.
the corner. I was going to say it's right around the corner. You'll be
Not a
surprised.
far drive.
If they allow full building, I would say it would be 60-40. That's how many Nets fans will take the trip down there.
Nah, bro. I know they will, but they might not get in, bro.
That's the truth. They say
Philly, you're bugging. Even when they're on that Super Bowl run, Philly don't play. Philly gonna come through.
That's the only thing. If they put it like, Sixers fans gets first dibs on tickets, then
a wrap.
It's a wrap. Yeah.
Game 7, like that. I'm that's the only reason why I'm hesitating on the Nets. If Game 7 is not in Brooklyn,
who is on that team that could truly match up against us? Danny Green? He's gonna repeat the same thing he did for y'all last year.
I know, but just remember.
I don't care how nice Embiid is.
No. Just remember, they have a Curry.
Bro, I don't
remember
care.
In Dallas.
Don't care.
Listen, Harden, one of the two is not. They're not elite on defense. They're gonna let that man shoot 50% from 3. And
Harden.
That's the worst thing that could have happened in a playoff series.
I have one thing to combat that. Harden is not asked to score on this team. So he has energy
to play
defense. And when he wants to play defense, he is elite. He just doesn't choose to play defense. He showed it. I never seen somebody close out from the free throw line who a wing defender and get a block on a wide open 3.
Oh no. That was, to me, that was his defensive defining moment last year. You're talking about against OKC.
He said, "I can play defense."
I know. That next series, I just, if he just gave a little bit more of that, they would have at least went 6. That team was too stacked to guard.
But that's the thing. On that team, who else was on the team? You got Westbrook. Westbrook was low-key washed last year. Like, he still put up his numbers, but Westbrook was low-key washed last year.
Here's the reason why y'all got game 1.
You saying y'all? I could care less about them. That's why I was confused. I was like, wait.
Bro. When they were in Houston, he was the reason why it wasn't Harden. That's why I know it can help strengthen your argument that Harden don't have to do much. But then he have to do much in game 1.
All he has to do is run down the middle of the floor, draw the defense in, kick it out to Joe Harris, kick it out to Kyrie, kick it out to KD.
And that's the blessing of him being exposed to Chris Paul. I don't care what he say. You're not as dope a floor general now on the Nets if you didn't watch what CP3 did for y'all in those runs.
Here's what I have to say about Chris Paul. Outside of LeBron, Chris Paul has taken some teams that had no business being in the playoffs at all and taken them to look good. Chris Paul, outside of LeBron, is the best leader in the NBA. The Suns missed the playoffs, and they missed the playoffs after winning every game in the bubble.
In the bubble, yeah.
And still missed the playoffs. Chris Paul shows up and says, "Oh, we gonna be the number 1 seed," and he might get it.
I'm not gonna hold you. if DeAndre Ayton, I'm not no sidebar. If DeAndre Ayton didn't get in all that trouble that he got in
Yep,
with
with
the with the
the
with the
PEDs.
performance enhancing drugs,
Yep.
I still think they would have been a more interesting 8 seed than Portland. That's just my opinion.
I can't say that.
Monty Williams would have got a game out of Phoenix that time, and that would have made whatchamacallit more compelling. You always knew that CP3 was gonna go to Phoenix because Monty Williams and him is
Yeah,
tight. That was his last major. Remember, if it wasn't for the 2010 Lakers, people forget that New Orleans was up there too. New Orleans had something to say in the West
yeah.
with Monty Williams as coach. So Monty Williams and him, that duo feel like they have unfinished business. So you know what? I'm not gonna knock it. I'm not gonna knock it. I feel like if you look at it now, Monty Williams and them are gonna have something to say. I don't trust Quinn Cook with the Jazz because you were up 3-1 with the. Yeah, I understand. I understand. It wasn't. It's not the same team. Clarkson was there. Mitchell was there.
I feel like the difference is in the first
Okay,
round, they're not going to be
Nane wasn't there.
facing. No, I'm saying in the first round, they're not going to be playing a Jamal Murray.
Yeah,
That's the difference. Jamal
there's no
Murray had to
reason.
drop 50 twice
There's
to
no
win
reason
that
for them.
series.
Yeah. Okay. Don did too to make it a 7-game series. I mean, dang. I get it.
You
I
understand? So like, I don't believe like in the first round. Let's look at the Western Conference stands. I got those up right now too. Um, the Jazz will be playing anyone from either the Jazz will be playing either the Mavericks, the Grizzlies, the Spurs, or the Warriors. If they play the Warriors, then Steph Curry could easily drop 50 and nobody will be confused. But if they play the Mavs,
I don't think. I
Luka's
don't even think
nice.
Golden State's. I don't even think. I'm not gonna hold you. I don't think Golden State making the playoffs because the rookie's out with the meniscus.
I still think they do because the closest team to them is
Wiseman.
the Pelicans, and the Pelicans don't show me really much. They
It's Stan Van
rely
Gundy. It's really Stan Van Gundy.
yeah they rely
Bad
on
idea.
they rely on Zion to be a guard now, and I don't think he can hold up. Like they play him as a guard, like he's a point forward really right now. And yes, he is 6'6", so he should be playing guard, but I don't think he can hold up as a guard because he is 285 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my only issue. And if you match, okay, so like the playing games right now, like as currently situated, excuse me, it'll be Warriors against Spurs. Uh, that's a toss up. That's literally a toss up. I can't tell you who would win that game. The Spurs could easily go up by 40 because they have a better coach, they have all that stuff. But you could also look at the Warriors and go, Steph Curry could just have the game of his life and drop 50 and nobody will be confused. You still got Draymond, who's still the best defender in the NBA. So you look at that and they could it's a toss-up game. So the winner of that game would play the loser of Mavs Grizzlies. So they
Mm.
will be playing the Grizzlies. The Mavs cannot lose that game. So you're gonna have either Warriors Grizzlies or Spurs Grizzlies. You think either of those teams are gonna beat the Grizzlies healthy?
Uh, it's tricky because I'm like, Grizzlies healthy. Ja Morant's great. It's this.
You see my
I
point. So it's like
I only give it to Golden State off of experience, but when it's only Steph and Draymond, you can always cancel out Draymond.
you could always cancel out Draymond unless Draymond gets hot like he did. What game was that? Was it game
Games freaking
5 or game 6 against against the Cavs in
7. It was 7,
27?
bro.
Game 7 where he had like five threes in the first half. And
Yes,
they
it was Game
yes, it was
7. That's why
2016. That
Cat.
was when they lost. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why Cats was like, if they'd won the series, they would have gave it to Draymond. But the league wouldn't have wanted that for nothing.
Yeah, especially after he got suspended.
Yeah,
But
they would. They
he
would
should have been.
not.
If they won, I feel like if they won the series regardless, even if he didn't have that crazy shooting night, he should have won MVP because he was keeping the Cavs under management. I mean, he said, "Sit down," and then
Yeah,
he gets suspended, and the Cavs go crazy,
but that's what I'm
and
saying.
they could never
That
recover
was
from that.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
I I
So
I I
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Draymond would have to have that or KD was out against Portland. I forgot he went crazy in Game 4, the closeout game. Yeah, Draymond can have I think 3 or 4, but he had a big game against Portland. I just think, fam, honestly, I just think the West is so stacked. The first anybody from 1 to 6 can come out and make a run. Anybody from one to six.
I would go 1 to 5.
Who's five? Who's top five? Who's six right
So
now?
Jazz are 1, Suns 2, Clippers 3, Nuggets 4, Lakers 5. I don't think the Blazers are gonna come out the West. I
You
don't
know
think
it's
the
so sad
Blazers,
that
Mavs, Grizzlies, Spurs,
Nurkic,
or
man,
Warriors.
Nurkic, man. If Wiseman wasn't hurt, I would say the Warriors might surprise us. But
They wouldn't come out
yeah,
the
I
West
agree.
though.
They want to come out the West. They
They
would
could probably make
surprise
it
us,
to
but
the
they
Eastern
wouldn't. Yeah,
Conference Finals. Curry
Western
hasn't
Conference.
showed me
Yeah,
enough. I mean, Western Conference Finals. I don't think Curry has shown me enough to be a crunch time player. Curry is clutch in the fact that he's going to get you up 30, so you don't have to stress in the fourth quarter. That's
right.
Curry's game. Give Curry the ball with 2 minutes left in the game. He can make his shots. Clearly, he's the greatest shooter of all time. But if you look at him like,
And at
oh,
the free throw line, he's more money than KD. I think that's a better
yeah.
free throw percentage. So it's just
But if
man.
Curry won MVP back to back 15 and 16. And at the end of those games, what did he do at the end of all those games? He was sitting on the bench because they were up so much. So when they got to the finals and it was actually 2016 had some adversity hit them, what happened?
I'm not gonna hold you.
Disappeared.
If you say 2016, that 73-9 run, I mean, it was really Clay for the Western Conference Finals against OKC
Yep.
in
Game 6
in
Clay.
in the
Isn't that
NBA
where it started?
Finals. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It actually started technically that Memphis series when they were down 2-1 in their first title run.
But I'm saying game 6 Clay, where
Yeah, that the
every game
legend.
6 he gonna
Yeah,
drop 40.
the legend. It was confirmed in that one. It was
Exactly.
confirmed in that one. Yeah,
Steph disappears. Like you
and he
can't
had 30. He had 30 before he tore his ACL.
yeah, exactly. Like Steph Curry is gonna put up numbers. He's gonna average 26 for the finals. But in crunch time,
Because you're talking right
I
now, as you
yeah,
talk right now, I'm watching them play Denver on ESPN. Yeah, Wiseman would have been so good for them to have and for him to gain that experience because Draymond is getting washed in the paint. Like
he's
Jokic is
6'6". Like let's be real, he cannot play
no,
the
no, I
five.
know, I know. It worked because the elite NBA centers were not in the West during those title runs.
Yeah, there was none. It was really
All it was in the East. They were all in the East. The bigs were in the East.
Aldridge was the only one, and
The
AD,
Aldridge
but AD
was
always got bounced in the first
all right.
round.
And yeah, and DeMarcus Cousins
Well, the Kings
was
weren't really making the
injured,
playoffs back then,
and
like
the King.
heavy.
Yeah, but even that year that they went in 17, I think that was his first year with the Pelicans, bro. With Rondo and them when they upset Portland.
Yeah. No, but
That's
didn't no
about
his.
it.
I thought he got hurt that first year with the Pelicans. He didn't even play in the playoffs.
Second,
That was
I
the
thought it was the second
first.
year. I thought it was the
Uh,
second year.
I thought he played like 2 months for the Pelicans and then tore something like his meniscus or something. He was out for the playoffs.
It might have
I
been the
think that
second year.
when
I
he
will check.
got
You
to
might be
the
right.
when he got to the Pelicans is when his injury started coming crazy, and then he just never hasn't really played since.
Yeah, that's sad too because he had no. It was the second year
It was the second
because
year.
yeah, it was the second year because Rondo, him, and because everybody was saying what a matchup problem that is. You had Twin Towers, the Twin
Yeah.
Towers, the reemerge of the Twin Towers. I think the first year they played together. Don't quote me, but I think
Honestly, that with the way they're both elite offensively and defensively, that might be the best like front court I've probably seen in my lifetime.
and they didn't even go nowhere because of
And they
injuries.
went
They didn't go
nowhere.
nowhere.
You
They didn't go
cannot guard
nowhere.
either of them. You can't. Both of
Jeez.
them are matchup problems. You put a big on them, they're too fast for the bigs. You put
God
a
bless.
small on them, they getting back down in the paint.
Yeah. God bless Wiggins, as you said that. God bless Wiggins, but he don't fit. He don't fit. They got to trade
Nah,
him. He
you
has
can't
he
trade
having a
them.
good game, but he can't fit. But
You
I'm
can't
looking at
trade them.
Jokic. I'm looking at Jokic and I'm just like, fam. And he just got the N1. And he just got the N1.
Yeah,
I'm just
I'm
saying to
watching.
myself. I'm just saying to myself, Jokic. If Murray had just got started, revved up the engine just 1 month sooner, because they gave it to the Clippers a couple weeks ago. They still had their
Look,
number.
they still the number 4 seed, man. So I'm not worried about them.
I know at this point, but they should have been in the top 3 discussion. Because you're gonna say the Jazz and the Suns came up. Oh no. But you know why they're back? Nah, they're dangerous too. For one reason, that Aaron Gordon pickup, man.
Oh yeah.
I think they've only lost 1 game since the trade. Since they traded for him, they've only lost 1 game or 2. Yeah, they haven't lost a lot
Let's
of games since the trade.
let's be real. If you look at the team they had last year, their 2 pickups this trade deadline
Mm-hmm.
are better versions of the players that they lost in
That they
free
lost.
agency.
Yeah.
They lost Jeremy Grant. Aaron Gordon is a better Jeremy Grant.
Yeah.
You lost Mason Plumlee. JaVale McGee is a little bit older, but he's a better Mason Plumlee.
And he's okay with coming off the bench.
Exactly. So you look at that team and you go, oh man, we lost 2 great role players, but you got 2 better role players. Not even role, because Aaron Gordon could be a star. When he played the Nets, when they played the Nets right after the All-Star break, my guy was out here balling out. It made no sense to me. I'm like, yo, Aaron Gordon was never this nice.
Yeah.
So you look at them and you go, okay, he's really nice. So you have JaVale McGee, who, yes, he might be washed right now, but he's still better than Mason Plumlee. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But we getting a little long
I
with this
like it.
episode. So
Yeah,
we're gonna wind it
I
down.
agree.
We're gonna he really just threw the mask on the floor. That's trash. Because now they got to give him a new one.
Yeah, they're gonna. Yeah.
but let's get out of here, man. It's been this episode is only supposed to be like half an hour. We've been on here for mad long, like almost 2 hours, which is good. All right, bro. I appreciate you. Episode, I don't know if it's episode 13 or 14. I don't know, man. It was one of the 2, but I think it's 13, so I'm gonna go with 13. This was fun. D-Rod and Shaniac Sports Pod. Remember to follow us on Twitter at D-Rod and Shaniac Sports Pod. You could watch us on YouTube at D-Rod and Shaniac Sports Podcast. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Podbean. We're on everything. So follow us on there, stream us on there. You already know what it is. If you don't know if you're subscribed, go check. It should be below. Go check. Press that button. Press the notification bell. We post almost every day. We put a lot of snippets from all our episodes, and then we do Yankees game post-game recaps after almost every game. So look out for that. This is fun. Follow me on subscribe to my personal YouTube channel, Shaniac the Helmer. I do MLB The Show gameplays. I do Yankees post-game recaps. I do all sports reaction videos sometimes whenever there's some big trade or something. So follow me on there. D-Rod will be back next week, and we're probably going to talk Yankees next week. So be ready to tune in. It's going to be a fun episode. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.